Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here again, giving yourself this quiet space to breathe. Take a slow breath in, hold it for a moment, and let it go gently. Let the pace of your thoughts settle. Let your body remember that it can rest. This is a moment not for doing, but for noticing. Today's question is one that hides in the shadow of accomplishment. Why do we sometimes feel a deep sadness after reaching something we've worked for so long to achieve? You'd think the moment of arrival should feel bright, triumphant, fulfilling, whole, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the victory you've imagined for years lands with an unexpected emptiness. You look around, waiting for joy to rise in your chest. And instead, there's quiet. A strange hollowness, as if something vital has slipped through your fingers just when you thought you'd caught it. This isn't failure, it's part of being human, but it can be confusing. We ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? Why am I not happier? Why does success feel like loss? To understand that feeling, we first have to see how much of ourselves we invest in the climb. When you're working towards something big, a dream, a goal, a change, it becomes more than a task. It becomes identity. It gives your days shape and meaning. You wake up with direction. You move with purpose. The horizon ahead gives you something to reach for. And then, one day, you reach it, and the horizon moves. Let me tell you a story. A woman spent nearly a decade writing her first novel. She poured everything into it. Her mornings, her weekends, her hopes. She imagined that when it was finally published, she'd feel complete. The book came out. The reviews were good. The dream was real. But a week later, she told me she felt strangely lost. For years, she said, I always knew what I was working toward. Now I don't. What she was feeling wasn't disappointment in the result. It was the absence of the striving that had carried her for so long. She wasn't chasing something anymore. And without the chase, her sense of self had nowhere to land. This is one of the quiet truths of achievement. The journey defines us more than the arrival. The effort, the anticipation, the becoming, those are alive. The destination, by nature, is still. And when we reach it, part of us wonders, who am I now if I'm no longer the one who's chasing? There's also grief in endings, even good ones. Reaching a goal means the story you've been living through is over, and endings, no matter how bright, always carry a hint of loss. Think about graduation. You spend years building toward it, late nights, hard work, plans. Then the day comes, the ceremony ends, everyone celebrates, and yet that night, lying in bed, you feel a quiet sadness you didn't expect. Because what you were preparing for has passed. The structure that guided you is gone. You're standing in the open now, free, yes, but also unanchored. Another story comes to mind. A man trained for years to run a marathon. It became the rhythm of his life. Early mornings, disciplined meals, miles after miles. The goal became his compass. When the race finally came, he finished strong. His friends cheered. The medal hung heavy on his chest. But later that evening, as he sat alone, he felt nothing. No excitement, no satisfaction, just fatigue and quiet. He said, I thought crossing the finish line would change something in me, but I'm still me. That realization, gentle as it is, can feel like a kind of heartbreak. When we discover that no achievement, no matter how meaningful, can deliver us from ourselves. We often attach happiness to future milestones. We tell ourselves, I'll feel at peace when I get there. But peace doesn't live in arrival, it lives in alignment. And when we reach a long-sought goal, we often see, sometimes for the first time, that happiness wasn't waiting at the end. It was hiding in the moments along the way when we felt most alive, most engaged, most connected. We just didn't notice. There's another reason this post-achievement sadness happens: relief. When you've been holding tension for a long time, striving, hoping, fearing, your body doesn't instantly switch off once the pressure is gone. It collapses, the nervous system finally relaxes, and the release can feel like emptiness. You're not broken, you're decompressing. You've been carrying a mountain, and you finally set it down. What you're feeling is the echo of effort. But there's a deeper layer still. Sometimes sadness follows achievement because it exposes a truth we didn't expect. The goal wasn't the whole story. It gave us purpose, yes, but purpose without deeper meaning can leave us hungry. We thought the accomplishment would fill us, but what we really wanted was connection, belonging, peace, things no finish line can guarantee. There's a story about a musician who worked for years to perform on a famous stage. When he finally stood there, under the lights, he felt strangely distant from himself. He said later, "It was everything I'd dreamed of, but I didn't feel present. I realized I'd built a life chasing applause instead of listening for my own joy." That's the quiet cost of striving. Sometimes we trade the living for the proving. But the sadness that follows success isn't a punishment. It's an invitation. It asks, now that you've arrived, what do you truly want to feel? It gives you the space to ask deeper questions, ones that were drowned out by the noise of ambition. What if the goal was never the destination, but the doorway? What if it was meant to bring you closer to yourself, to show you what kind of effort lights you up, what kind of purpose sustains you, what kind of peace you crave when the noise fades? Sometimes the sadness after achievement is a sign that your spirit is ready for something more honest, something quieter, more real. Maybe it's time to redefine what success means. Maybe it's time to build a life that feels fulfilling in the middle, not just at the end. You can still celebrate what you've accomplished, the strength, the courage, the commitment it took. But let it also teach you, you are more than what you achieve. You are the one who walks the path, not the finish line itself. If you're feeling that quiet emptiness right now, try this. Don't rush to fill it. Sit with it. Listen to it. It's not emptiness you're feeling, it's space. The space left open for the next becoming. Maybe the next dream will be gentler. Maybe it won't be about reaching something, but about being something. More present, more kind, more alive. Maybe the sadness is simply your soul, exhaling after years of holding its breath. Let it. Let yourself rest between chapters. You don't have to know what's next. You only have to remember that every ending carries its own beginning inside it. So if you've reached your goal and the joy feels quieter than you imagined, don't turn away from that silence. Listen to it. It's your life making room for what comes next. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.